Hi! Welcome to our 7th video lesson in Precalculus. At ang topic natin in this video is about hyperbola. Earlier in Lesson 1, Introduction to Conic Sections, we defined hyperbola as a curve formed when the cutting plane intersects a double-right circular cone perpendicular with the base, and also when the angle between the cutting plane and axis is less than the vertex angle. And here, we also defined it as a set of all points in a plane such that the difference of the distances of each point of the set from the two fixed points is constant. The fixed points are called foci. So, sa madaling salita, ito yung graph ng hyperbola. So, let's say nandito yung foci, yung focus 1 and focus 2. So, kung kukuha tayo ng certain point from the curve, pwede dito or dito. So, kuha muna tayo dito. So, ito yung distance 2 and distance 1. Distance 1 and distance 2. Kung subtract natin yung D2 from D1, ito daw ay equivalent to 2A. So, 2A, ito yung transverse axis. Ito yung A and A. So, A plus A. So, kaya naging 2A. And then, kung kukuha naman tayo dito, halimbawa dito, yung distance na to, and distance na to, pag pinag-minus natin yan, equivalent din yan sa 2A. Or kung dito, pag minag-minus natin yan, equivalent pa rin yan sa 2A. Kaya sinabi siyang constant yung difference ng distance na to. Kung distance 1 and distance 2. Yung distance nung point from the foci. So, yung difference daw ng distances ng point from the foci ay constant. So, constant siya sa 2A. So, the parts of a hyperbola. First is a center. So, just like in ellipse and circles, it has a center. It is also denoted by H and K. So, next we have the transverse axis. So, nabanggit ko na to kanina. It is a segment joining or connecting the vertices of a hyperbola. Yung distance from the center to one focus is denoted by A. So, yung total length niya is equal to 2A. So, next is the conjugate axis. So, ito naman yung segment na nagjo-join sa co-vertices ng hyperbola. So, yung distance from the center to one co-vertex is denoted by B and B. So, yung total distance niya is 2B. So, yung 2A sa ellipse ay tinatawag na major axis. So, dito sa hyperbola, tinatawag na transverse axis. So, yung conjugate naman, o yung 2B, ito naman ay conjugate axis, which is perpendicular bisector of the transverse axis. Next, we have focal length. So, halimbawa na dito yung focus natin, yung foci. So, ito yung distance from one focus to another. So, yung total length niya is the focal length. So, yung distance from the center to one focus is denoted by C. So, yung total length niya is equal to 2C. Kung mapapansin nyo, yung C dito ay mas mahaba or pinakamahaba kumpara sa A and B. Kaya, ang gagamitin na natin dito ay yung Pythagorean theorem. C squared is equal to A squared plus B squared. Ellipse, dahil nga mas mahaba yung A, kaya naging A squared is equal to B squared plus C squared. So, this time, mas mahaba na yung C sa hyperbola. So, ito na yung gagamitin natin in finding these values. So, next, the vertex. So, ito yung mga vertices ng hyperbola na ito. So, ito yung pinaka-peak nung dalawang curve. Ito yung unang curve, pangalawa. So, ito yung pinaka-peak na tawag na vertex or vertices sa plural form. Next, the foci. So, ito nga yung foci. Yung two fixed points. Ito, focus 1 and focus 2. And then, the next is the directrix or directrices. So, sa hyperbola, meron din siyang dalawa. Ito yung fixed straight line, parallel with the conjugate axis and perpendicular with the transverse axis. Hyperbola is also defined as a curve where the distances from any point dito sa curve na to, from the fixed straight line and fixed point, has the same ratio. So, yung distance, halimbawa, kung kukuha tayo dito na isang point, kahit saan dyan, yung distance niya from here, dapat perpendicular yan sa directrix, and from the one focus, ay merong the same ratio. Kung dito, so meron silang the same na ratio. At yung ratio na yun, tinatawag na eccentricity. And then, yung eccentricity na yun ang nagsasabi kung gaano ba ka-circular ang isang conic section. And para mahanap yung directrix na yun, again, yung Adisea. So, para mahanap tong D, which is the directrix. So, ito yung distance from the center to one directrix. So, D is equal to, divide natin both side by E. So, magiging A over E. And next, the latus rectum. Ito yung focal width. So, magkaiba yung focal length sa focal width. So, yung focal length, yun yung distance from one focus to another. And ito namang focal width, ito yung distance kung gaano ba kalapad yung isang focal width sa loob ng curve. So, ito yon. And dito, perpendicular siya with the transverse axis. And parallel naman sa conjugate axis and the directrix. Next is the asymptote. So, ito yung ating favorite na hugot from mathematics. So close but not together. So, ito yung line na sobrang lapit niya na with the curve but never touches the curve. Sobrang lapit lang niya. Sobrang lapit lang niya sa curve pero never talaga niya na-touch yung curve. So, siya yung line na nag-guide kung saan papunta yung hyperbola. So close but not together. So, just like in ellipse, hyperbola can be horizontal or vertical. So, depende yun sa transverse axis. So, sa figure 1, yung transverse axis, which is the 2A, ay nakaparallel with the x-axis. So, dito sa figure 2 naman, nakaparallel yung transverse axis or yung 2A with the y-axis. So, ito yung table of parameters na hanapin natin kapag ang center ng hyperbola ay nasa origin. So, ito yung standard equation. So, mapansin nyo, almost same sila ng ellipse. Pero, pinagkaiba nila is negative or minus sa inyong nasa gitna. And then, foci, vertices, endpoints of ito, pinagkaiba nila is yung major axis kapag sa ellipse. And then, yung endpoints of lateral recta, and meron na siyang asymptotes. So, dito naman, kapag yung hyperbola ay wala na sa origin yung kanyang center, so may value na yung h and k niya. So, yan, may h and k na. Pero, ganun pa rin, same principle pa rin, kapag ang positive na numerator is x minus h squared, so, isa siyang horizontal hyperbola. And kapag y minus k squared naman yung naunang numerator or yung may positive na sign, so vertical yung hyperbola. And then yung vertices and foci, yung asymptotes niya, meron na siyang y minus k and yung x minus h. So for example, number 1, for the given equation, y squared over 36 minus x squared over 64 is equal to 1. So for letter A, ang hinahanap natin dito is yung classification ng given na hyperbola. So para malaman natin kung ano yung classification niya, titingnan lang natin kung sino yung negative or kung sino yung positive. Kung yung x squared ba or yung y squared. So dito, ang positive is yung y squared. So ibig sabihin, isa siyang vertical hyperbola. So for letter B, coordinates of vertices. So una, ito daw is a squared and ito naman yung b squared. And then, square root lang natin tong a squared para mahanap natin yung semi-transverse axis. So, a is equal to 6. Okay, square root ng 36 is equal to 6. So, positive, negative, 6. So, dito, nahanap na natin yung semi-transverse axis. Mahanap na rin natin yung transverse axis, which is equal to 2a. So, kung a is equal to 6, so magiging 2 times 6, which is equal to 12 units. And then, i-graph natin. So, obviously, yung center niya is 0, 0 dahil wala namang h and k. So, 0, 0. So, bilang tayo ng 6 units pataas and pababa since isa siyang vertical hyperbola. So, ito yung transverse axis. And ito yung endpoints or vertices. So, sa graph na to, ito ay magiging 0 and 6, and then 0 and negative 6. So, sa letter B, ang coordinates daw ng vertices, so 0 and 6, and 0 and negative 6. And then, next is hahanapin natin yung foci. So, kanina, yung Pythagorean theorem, a squared is equal to a squared plus b squared. Since given na naman yung a squared and b squared, so ito yun, 36 and 64. So, 36 plus 64. C squared is equal to 100. So, square root ng 100 is equal to 10. So, yung C, ito yung distance nung one focus from the center. So, kung mayroon tayong positive and negative 10, so bilang tayo from the center ng 10 units pataas and pababa. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So, dito yung isang focus. And then, sa bababa, so 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So, ito yung yung second focus. Focus 1 and focus 2. Kung nakuha na natin yung value ng C, so mahanap na natin yung focal length. So, focal length is equal to 2C. Focal length, 2C. So, 2 times 10 is equal to 20 units. So, ito yung tinatawag na focal length. One focus to another. And then, yung hinahanap natin is yung coordinates nung focus or yung foci, nung foci. So, obviously, ito ay 0 and 10. And then, sa pangalawa is 0 and negative 10. So, yung coordinates of foci, so 0 and 10, and 0 and negative 10. So, next natin yung hanapin is yung coordinate ng conjugate axis. So, dito, itong 64, ito yung b squared. So, hanapin muna natin yung conjugate, yung length ng conjugate axis. So, yung conjugate axis is equal to 2b. So, square root muna natin yung b squared, which is equal to 64. So, b is equal to 8. Then, para mahanap yung conjugate, 2 times 8, which is equal to 16 units. So, bilang tayo ng 8 units from the center to the right and to the left. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So, ito yung co-vertices. Co-vertex 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And co-vertex 2. So, obviously, yung coordinates ng conjugate axis is at negative 8 and 0 and positive 8 and 0. And the next natin hahanapin is yung latus rectum or yung focal width. So, meron tayong formula dyan, tulad din sa ellipse, which is equal to LR is equal to 2b squared over A. So, magiging 2 times b squared ay 64 over A, which is 6. So, approximately equals to 21.33 units. So, ito ay 21.33 units. And also this one, 21.33 units. And then, hanapin naman natin yung endpoints ng latera recta. O nung dalawang latus rectum. Since nahanap na naman natin yung width niya, which is 21.33, so para ma-allocate natin siya sa x-axis, divide lang natin itong 21.33 by 2. So, 21.33 divided by 2 is equal to 10.665. So, equal lang naman to. Yung dalawang, symmetrical naman yung latus rectum. So, magiging 10.67 and 10.67 yung location niya sa x-axis. So, magiging, so, itong point na to ay nasa negative 10.67 and sa 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And 10. And then yung pangalawa, nasa positive 10.67 and 10 din siya. And then dito naman, so 21.33 din to. So maging 10.67 and 10.67 din siya. Magiging negative 10.67 and negative 10 sa y-axis. And also, magiging 10.67 and then negative 10 sa y-axis. So, second to the last na hanapin natin is yung asymptotes, which is equal to y is equal to y positive and negative a over b x. So, yung a natin is equal to 6 over 8x, so magiging 3/4. So, asymptote is equal to y is equal to positive negative 3/4 x. And then, lastly, yung eccentricity. Saya, so eccentricity is equal to c over a. So, yung c natin is equal to 10. Then, yung a is 6. So, eccentricity is equal to 5 over 3. So, for the given hyperbola with an equation x minus 1 squared over 16 minus y minus 2 squared over 9 is equal to 1. So, una natin hanapin is yung classification ng given na hyperbola. Kung vertical ba or horizontal. So, dito, kailangan mo tingnan kung ang nag-positive ba is yung x or yung y. Or kung sino yung naunang numerator. So, dito, yung positive or yung naunang numerator is yung x minus 1 squared. So, x, ibig sabihin, isa siyang horizontal hyperbola. Kasi, hindi natin pwedeng tingnan yung pangalawa na nag-positive. Kasi, isa na siyang ellipse kapag nag-positive yung pangalawang equation or yung pangalawang numerator. And then next is hanapin natin yung transverse axis or yung coordinate ng transverse axis which is equal to 2a. So, itong unang numerator, ito yung lagi yung a squared and then yung pangalawang denominator pala is b squared. So, para mahanap yun, so a squared is equal to 16. So, a is equal to square root of 16. Naging positive, negative, 4. So, para mahanap yung transverse axis, so 2 times a which is 4. So, 8 units yung total length ng transverse axis. So, i-graph natin yan. So, bago natin siya i-graph, i-consider muna natin kung nasan ba yung center. Center CHK. So, yung H and K natin is positive 1 and positive 2. Positive 1 and positive 2. So, graph natin yon kung nasaan ba yung center sa positive 1 sa x-axis and positive 2 sa y-axis. So, ito yung center natin. And then, yung nakuha natin na semi-transverse axis or yung A is positive and negative 4. So, since horizontal siya, horizontal hyperbola, so to the left and to the right, tayo bibilang ng 4 units. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. So, ito yung unang vertex. And then, 1, 2, 3, 4. Ito yung pangalawang vertex. So, pag kinonect natin yan, ito yung total length ng transverse axis. So, A and A, which is equivalent to 2A. So, 2A natin is, kahit bilangin natin yan, so, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So, 8. 8 units siya. Pag dinrawing natin siya, yung hyperbola, so, ganyan siya. And then, ganyan. And the next is yung foci naman, yung coordinates ng foci. So, Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared. So, a squared is 16 plus b squared is 9. So, ito yung 16 and 9. So, c squared is equal to 25. So, c is equal to square root of 25, which is positive and negative 5. And then, yung c, ito yung distance ng focus from the center. So, 5 units daw from the center to the left and to the right. Dahil collinear naman siya with the center and the vertex. So, 1, dito sa, simula tayo sa center, bilang tayo ng 5 units, the right and to the left. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So, ito yung unang focus. And then, sa center ulit, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So, ito yung focus. Number 2. And then, yung mga coordinates niya. So, yung focus number 1 ay nasa, kailangan natin 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Positive 6. And then, nasa 2 units pataas. And then, yung pangalawa is nasa 1, 2, 3, 4. Negative 4 and 2 units din pataas sa y-axis. So, yung coordinates niya, negative 4 and 2, saka 6 and 2. And next, yung conjugate axis, which is equal to 2b. So, yung b natin is 9. b squared natin is 9. b squared is equal to 9. So, square root natin yung 9, which is equal to positive, negative 3. So, 2b, 2 times 3 is equal to 6 units. So, ito ay yung conjugate axis. So, yung conjugate axis natin ay nasa y-axis. So, up and down. Mula sa center, bilang tayo ng 3 units, pataas and baba. From the center, 1, 2, 3. So, ito yung co-vertex. Unang co-vertex, and then 1, 2, 3. And then yung pangalawang co-vertex. Pag kinonect natin yan, ito yung tinatawag na conjugate axis. So, ito yung B and another B. So, yung total length niya is 2B. And then, hanapin natin yung coordinates niya. So, itong point na ito ay nasa positive 1 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 units mula sa origin. And then, ito naman, positive 1 din and nasa negative 1 naman siya. So, yung conjugate axis ay nasa 1 and 5, saka 1 and negative 1. Ito yung coordinates ng conjugate axis. And then, yung length niya is 6 units. And, yung length pala ng foci, so 2C. So, 2C yung foci. So, yung C natin is 5. So, magiging 2 times 5 is equal to 10 units. So, kahit bilangin natin yan dito. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So, 10 units yan. And then, hahanapin na natin yung latus rectum or yung focal width. Dapat symmetric yan. Hindi lang symmetric yung drawing ko. And, tulad sa ellipse, yung latus rectum is equal to 2b squared over a. So, magiging 2 times yung b squared natin, which is 9, times 9 over, yung a natin is 4. So, 18 divided by 4 is equal to 4.5. So, yung latus rectum natin is 4.5. Yung width daw ng mga focus natin ay 4.5 units. So, kapag hinatin natin siya sa dalawa, magiging 2.25 each. And then, 2.25 each. Pag natin siya sa gitna, so ito and ito, saka dito. So, ito mag 2.25 din. And then, dito, 2.25 din. And then, hahanapin natin naman yung kanilang endpoints. So, itong mga to, and ito, saka ito, and ito. So, yung unang endpoint sa dito. So, sa x-axis siya ay nasa kapantay ng focus. So, yung focus natin ay nasa, so, bilangin natin from the origin. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. So, 4 and, so, negative 4 yan. And then, yung unit na to, so, dalawang itong units na to, plus 2.25. So, 2 plus 2.25 is positive 4.25. So, ito yung unang endpoint. Then, dito naman, so, nasa 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So, nasa 6 siya. Positive 6, and kapantay niya itong una natin. So, magiging positive 4.25 din siya. Ito yung pangalawang endpoint. And dito naman, so, kapantay niya yung una nating endpoint sa x-axis. So, negative 4 din siya. And, yung, di ba, itong length natin ng kalahati ng focal width is 2.25. So, i-minus lang natin siya by 2. So, yung length na to, minus lang natin yung 2.25. So, 2.25 minus 2 is equal to 0.25. So, nasa baba siya, kaya negative 0.25. And then, yung pang-apat, panghuli, so, tapat niyo yung second na sa x-axis. So, magiging 6 din siya. Katapat naman niya itong pangatlong endpoint sa y-axis. So, negative 0.25 naman din siya. So, ito yung mga endpoints ng latus rectum. And then, yung eccentricity naman, yung adesea. Sa saya, para manap yung E, divide natin yung C by A. So, yung C natin na nakuha is 5. And then, yung A natin, square root of 16 is 4. So, 5 over 4 yung eccentricity. And then, yung asymptotes naman, so based dun sa table natin, siyang horizontal hyperbola. So, ang gagamitin natin is itong y minus k is equal to positive, negative b over a times x minus h. Direct sub lang. So, y minus 2 is equal to positive, negative b, which is 3 over 4. Yung a natin, itong 16, square root ng 16, which is 4. Then, x minus 1. So, diba, multiply lang natin by 4 para ma-cancel out yung denominator. So, magiging 4y minus 8. So, 4 times 2 is equals to 8. Is equal to positive negative 3 times x minus 1. So, lipat-lipat lang natin. 4y minus 8 is equal to, yung positive muna, so 3x minus 3. And then yung isa, 4y minus 8 is equal to negative 3x plus 3. And then, transpose, 3x minus 4y sa kabila. And then, negative 3 plus 8 is equal to positive 5 is equal to 0. And then, isa naman, so lipat lang natin itong 3x. Naging positive 3x plus 4y. Negative 8 minus 3 is equals to negative 11 is equal to 0. So, ito na yung mga equation ng asymptotes. And now, we are done with the definition of hyperbola. So, let's proceed with the equations of hyperbola. Number 1, given the foci and vertices, so dito, una natin gagawin is to find the center. So, to find the center, gagamitin natin yung midpoint formula ulit, tulad sa ellipse. So, pwede natin gamitin yung coordinates nito and nung foci. So, kahit saan dyan sa dalawa. Dahil, silang dalawa naman ay collinear with the center. So, kung ano man makakuha natin yung center ng vertices, and then yung center ng foci, so, same lang din yun ng center. Pinaka-center na hahanapin natin. So, yung midpoint formula, so, gamitin natin yung vertices. So, x sub 1 is itong negative 3 plus x sub 2, which is positive 3 over 2. And then y sub 1, which is 0. And then plus 0 din over 2. So, 0 na yan. So, ibig sabihin, yung center natin ay nasa origin. And then, mapapansin natin, yung mga y-coordinates nila, ay nasa 0. So, ibig sabihin, nakaparallel yung transverse axis at x-axis. Ibig sabihin, isa siyang horizontal hyperbola. So, ang gagamitin natin ng standard equation is yung x minus h, or wala na yung h natin, so 0 na yan. So, x squared over a squared minus y squared over b squared is equal to 1. So, ito yung gagamitin natin, equation. So, next is to find yung value na a para mahanap natin yung A squared. So, yung A, ito yung semi-transverse axis. So, kailangan natin mahanap yung total distance ng given na vertices using the distance formula. So, yung vertices, ito yung endpoint ng transverse axis. So, to find the transverse axis, so 2a is equal to yung distance formula, x sub 2 minus x sub 1 squared plus y sub 2 minus y sub 1 squared. So, ang gamitin natin is yung coordinates ng vertices. X sub 2 natin is positive 3. So, 3 minus x sub 1 is negative 3. So, magiging positive 3 squared plus y sub 2 is, and y sub 1 is parehong 0, 0, 0 squared. Cancel out. So, magiging 2a is equal to square root of 6 squared. So, makakancel na yung square root niyan. So, 2a is equal to 6. And then, to find a, 6 divided by 2 is equal to 3. So, nahanap na natin yung center, which is at 0, 0. And then, yung a, which is equal to 3. And then, next natin hahanapin is yung c, to find the value of b. So, given yung formula, yung coordinates ng foci, so, hanapin natin yung 2c. So, 2c is equal to yung distance formula, x sub 2. So, ito na lang yung x sub 1 natin, x sub 2. So, x sub 2 is equal to positive 4 minus itong negative 4, magiging positive 4 squared plus parehong 0 yung y sub 1 and y sub 2. So, 0 minus 0 squared. So, cancel out na to. So, 2c is equal to 8 squared. So, 2c is equal to, cancel out na yung square root and squared. So, 8. So, to find c is equal to 8 divided by 2 is equal to 4. And then, to find b, Pythagorean theorem, magiging b squared is equal to c squared minus a squared. So, b squared is equal to 16. So, 4 times, or 4 squared minus a squared, which is 3 raised to 2 is 9. So, b squared is equal to 16 minus 9 is 7. So, nahanap na natin yung h and k, and then yung a and itong b squared. So, a squared is equal to 9. So, direct sub na lang. Ito yung susundin natin na equation. So, x squared over a squared, which is 9, minus y squared over b squared, which is 7, is equal to 1. So, ito na yung ating final answer. So, another example for case number 1, given the foci and the vertices. So, first is to find the center using the midpoint formula, x sub 1 plus x sub 2 over 2, and y sub 1 plus y sub 2 over 2. So, use vertices or kahit yung foci. So, vertices na lang tayo. So, x sub 1 is negative 2. So, negative 2 plus x sub 2 is 4 over 2. And then, y sub 1 is negative 5 plus y sub 2 is negative 5 over 2. So, negative 2 plus 4 is positive 2 over 2. Negative 5 minus 5 is negative 10 over 2. So, magiging 1 and negative 5. So, ito yung h and k natin. Ito yung center. Kung mapapansin nyo, yung y-coordinates ng vertices and foci ay pare-parehong nasa negative 5. So, ibig sabihin, ang transverse axis ay parallel to the x-axis. So, isa siyang horizontal hyperbola. So, ang gagamitin natin is itong x minus h squared over a squared minus y minus k squared over b squared is equal to 1. And then next is to find yung a and c using the distance formula. So yung 2a, ito yung transverse axis. So yung distance from one vertex to another. So x sub 1 or x sub 2. So 4 minus negative 2. So may positive 2 squared plus y sub 2. So negative 5. So yun, negative 5 minus negative 5 x sub 1 or y sub 1. Again, positive 5 squared. So 2a is equal to square root of 6 squared. So ito ay cancel out na. 2a is equal to 6. So yung a is equal to 3. So a is to 3. So yung a squared is equal to 3 squared is equal to 9. So next is yung focal length, which is 2c. 2c is equal to yung distance from one focus to another. So ito naman yung mga coordinates ng mga focus, yung dalawang focus. So x sub 2, which is itong positive 6 minus negative 4. So magiging plus 4 squared plus y sub 2, which is negative 5. Negative 5 minus, again, negative 5. So magiging positive 5 squared. So cancel out na to. So 2c is equal to square root of 10 squared. Cancel out yung square root. So 2c is equal to 5 or 10. And then yung c natin is equal to 10 over 2 is 5. And then yung c squared is equal to 25. And then para mahanap natin yung b, so yung Pythagorean theorem, yung c squared, so b squared is equal to c squared minus a squared. B squared is equal to 25 minus 9. So c squared 25 and then yung a squared is 9. So b squared is equal to 16. 25 minus 9 is 16. So ayun na, nakuha na natin yung a squared and yung b squared. So alam na natin yung gagamitin natin na standard form. So direct sub na lang. So sa siyang horizontal, so yung positive is yung x minus h squared. So yung h pala natin is 1. 1 over a squared, which is 9, minus y natin is, yung k natin is negative 5, so magiging positive 5 squared over yung b squared, which is 16, is equal to 1. So, equal to 1 yan. So, ito na yung ating final answer. Final equation. For case number 2, given the vertices and asymptote. So, ito yung given ay vertices and yung asymptote niya. So, kapag ganito yung asymptote na given, obviously, yung center niya ay at 0, 0. Yung h and k niya ay parehong 0. Pero, syempre, kailangan pa nating make sure by using the distance formula ulit, nung using the coordinates of vertices. So, x sub 1 plus x sub 2 over 2, then y sub 1 plus y sub 2 over 2. So, x sub 1 natin is negative 6 plus positive 6 over 2. And then, 0 plus 0 over 2. So, 0 to. And then, 6 plus 6, negative 6 plus 6 is 0. So, equal to 0 din siya. Therefore, yung center niya is at 0 and 0. And then, yung y-coordinates ng vertices ay parehong nasa 0. So, ibig sabihin, nakaparallel sa x-axis yung transverse axis. So, therefore, isa siyang horizontal hyperbola. Kaya, ang gagamitin natin is yung x squared over a squared minus y squared over b squared is equal to 1. Kapag horizontal hyperbola. And then, hahanapin natin yung A by using the distance formula, using the coordinates of the vertices to find the transverse axis. So, to find that, so 2A is equal to distance formula x sub 2 minus x sub 1 squared plus y sub 2 minus y sub 1 squared. So, magiging x sub 2 natin is 6 minus negative 6, so magiging positive 6 squared plus y sub 2 and y sub 1 natin ay parehong 0. Cancel out na yan. So, magiging, so yung 2a natin, or yung transverse axis natin is square root of 12 squared. So, cancel out yun. So, 2a is equal to 12. And then, yung a natin is 12 divided by 2 is 6. So, a, meron na tayong a. The next is, yung sa asymptote naman niya, susundin lang natin itong form na to. So, ito yung sa horizontal, and then ito yung sa vertical. So, horizontal yung ating hyperbola. So, ito yung sundin natin. So, so y is equal to 4/3 x. So, ibig sabihin, yung 4/3 na to, so, yung b over a is equal to 4/3. So, equate lang natin. Nahanap na natin yung a, which is 6. So, magiging b over yung 6 equal to 4/3. Cross multiplication, 3b is equal to 6 times 4 is 24. So, b is equal to 24 divided by 3 is 8. So, therefore, nahanap na natin yung a and b. So, sub lang natin. Yung h and k naman ay parehong 0. So, direct substitution na lang. So, magiging x squared over a squared. Yung a is 6. 6 squared is 36. Minus y squared over b squared is 8 squared. So, magiging 64 is equal to 1. So, therefore, ito na yung ating final answer. So, for case number 3, given the foci and asymptote, so, una natin gagawin is to find the center. So, pwede rin naman nating, so, to find the center, pwede nating gamitin yung distance formula using the coordinates of foci or the vertices. So, dito, given na yung foci, so, pwede natin hanapin ito by using the distance formula. Pero, kung gusto niyo na mas madali, since given naman yung asymptote, so y minus k, so yung k natin is positive 2, and then yung h minus a, x minus h, so h natin is positive 2. So, ito yung center niya. So, mas madali kaysa mag-compute pa tayo since given na naman yun. So, ito yung center natin. And then, distance formula to find the length of foci, which is 2c, to find yung c. So, square root of x sub 1, ito yung x sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2. So, x sub 2, so 2 minus 2 square root of 5 minus 2 plus 2 square root of 5. So, squared natin. So, plus y squared, ay y sub 2, which is 2 minus y sub 1 is 2 squared. So, 0 na yan. So, calculate lang natin. Is equal to 4 square root of 5. So, divide lang natin ito by 2 to find c. Magiging 2 square root of 5. And then, yung asymptote natin, so, ang gagamitin natin dyan is yung y minus k is equal to positive negative b over a times x minus h. So, yung b over a natin is equal to 2 over 1. So, cross multiply lang natin. So, magiging b is equal to 2a. So, 2 times a is 2a. And then, Pythagorean theorem. So, c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared. So, since yung b squared daw natin is equal to 2a, yung b natin is 2a, magiging 2a plus 2a squared. So, c squared is equal to a squared plus 4a squared. So, direct sub lang natin yung c squared. So, c natin is 2 square root of 5. 2 square root of 5 squared is equal to a squared plus 4a squared. So, yung 2 square root of 5 squared is equal to 20. So, magiging a squared plus 4a squared is equal to 5a squared. Barayin lang natin. Divide natin both side by 5. 5. So, magiging a squared is equal to 4. So, a is equal to square root of 4, which is 2. So, yung b natin, di ba kanina is 2a. So, yung b is equal to 2 times a. So, 2 times 2 is equal to 4. So, ito na yung a natin, which is 2, and b is equal to 4. So, a is equal to 2, and yung b na nahanap natin is 4. So, dahil parehong 2 yung y-coordinates ng foci, so, ibig sabihin, nakaparallel to the x-axis yung transverse axis. So, isa siyang horizontal hyperbola. So, ang gagamitin natin is yung x minus h squared over a squared minus y minus k squared over b squared is equal to 1. So, the final answer is, direct sub lang natin, x minus yung h is 2 squared over a squared is 2 squared. So, maging 4 minus y minus k natin is 2 din squared over b squared. So, 4 squared is 16. Is equal to 1. Ito na yung final answer natin. So, writing equations of hyperbola in general form to standard form and vice versa. So, ito yung kanyang general form. So, almost same lang siya sa ibang conic sections. Yung pinagkaiba niya lang sa iba is yung negative, yung by squared. And then, yung standard form niya. So, ito, kapag horizontal, kasi positive yung x minus h squared. And then, vertical naman, kapag yung y minus k squared yung naunang numerator or yung may positive na sign. For example, number 5, write the equation to the general form. So, ito ay nasa standard equation. So, transform natin siya into general form. So, una is to, susunod na natin. So, ito ay isang horizontal hyperbola dahil positive yung x plus 4 squared. So, yung x na is positive. And then, multiply lang natin both side by LCD. So, equals to 1 to. So, LCD ng 9 and 8 is 72. And then, distribute lang natin yung 72. So, 72 divided by 9 is equal to 8 times x plus 4 squared. And 72 divided by 8 is equal to 9. So, negative 9 times y minus 3 squared is equal to 72. And square lang natin yung mga binomials. So, 8 times x squared plus 8x plus 16 minus 9. So, yung y squared minus 6y plus 9 is equal to 72. Distribute lang natin itong 8 saka yung 9. Magiging 8x squared plus 64x. 8 times 16 is 128. Then minus 9y squared. So, 9 times 6 is positive 54. Y. 9 times 9 is negative 81. Is equal to 72. Lipat lang natin itong 72 sa kabila. Magiging 8x squared plus 64x plus 128 minus 9y squared plus 54y minus 81 minus 72 is equal to 0. Susundin lang natin yung general form niya. Magiging 8x squared plus yung, or minus muna pala, minus yung by squared minus 9y squared plus 64x plus 54y, and then simplify lang natin yung mga constants. Negative 25 is equal to 0. So, ito na yung general form niya. So, for example number 6, write the equation 9x squared minus 4y squared plus 18x plus 16y minus 43 is equal to 0. So, ito ay nasa general form. Then, ito-transform natin ito into standard form. So, just like yung sa mga nauna natin na transformation into standard form and general form, una natin gagawin is transpose natin yung constant to the right. (43). And then, so 16y. The next is to group yung x and y's. So, 9x squared plus 18x minus 4y squared minus 16y is equal to 43. Factor lang natin sila. So, ilabas natin itong 9x squared plus 18 divided by 9 is 2x. So, minus. So, ilabas lang natin dito yung 4. Factor nila is 4 minus 4y is equal to 43. Dito na papasok yung completing the square method. So, again, so plus dito, minus 4 times y squared, or minus, plus yung third term is equal to 43, plus yung i-add natin. So, yung sa paghahanap ng third term, again, divide lang natin yung middle term, yung coefficient ng middle term by 2 and then square natin. So, 2 is the middle term, or yung coefficient ng middle term. Divide natin by 2, so equal to 1, and then 1 squared is equal to 1. And then dito sa y squared, so dito yung middle term is negative 4y, yung coefficient niya is negative 4. So, divide natin by 2, magiging negative 2, and then negative 2 squared is positive 4. So, dito sa kabilang side, so yung 1 na inad natin dito, multiply natin yun by 9. So, 1 times 9 is 9. And then, yung 4 na inad natin dito, yung third term, multiply natin to by negative 4. So, magiging 4 times 4, or 4 times negative 4 is negative 16. So, dapat ito ay minus. Factor lang natin yung mga perfect square trinomial. So, 9 times yung square root ng x squared is x. Square root ng 1 is 1. Then, follow the sign of the middle term, squared. So, minus 4. And then, yung square root ng y squared is y. Then, square root of 4 is 2. Then, follow the sign of the middle term, which is negative. Then, squared is equal to 43 plus 9 minus 16 is 36. So, remember yung standard form ng hyperbola. So, dapat equals to 1 siya. And, so, multiply lang natin both side by 1 over 36. 1 over 36. Para makancel to at maging 1. 1 over 36. 1 over 36. Simplify lang natin. 9 over 36 is 1 over 4. So, magiging x plus 1 squared over 4 minus 4 over 36 is 1 over 9. So, magiging y minus 2 squared over 9 is equal to 1. So, ito na yung final answer natin. Yung standard form.